It's time for spring training. Our Corey Miller took the first flight yesterday and files this report from Jupiter, Florida.
It may be quiet right now at the Cardinals complex here in Jupiter, Florida, but come tomorrow morning, this place will be buzzing with baseball. So who better to sit down with on the eve of 2023 spring training than Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol? How long does how last year ended stick with you? Is it something that lingers, or are you ready to turn the page right away?
What part?
The playoffs specifically.
Yeah, it's something that obviously you don't love the way it ends, and you're hungry to get another crack at it. Obviously, the guys are hungry for it. They've prepared all off season, and they're looking forward to showing up here and taking care of business.
For the first time in 2 decades, a different catcher will be running the show here at spring training. What made Willson Contreras the right choice to be the next guy to follow Yadier Molina?
He's a competitor. At the end of the day, it wasn't a matter of finding the best bat or the best guy behind the plate as much as a guy that was going to compete at an extremely high level and fit into the overall mindset of what we're doing here. And he verbalized it extremely well during his interview. He envisioned himself in this uniform, and he wanted to compete for this organization, and we're really looking forward to it.
No moves made to get another starter this offseason. How confident are you in this group you have? There's a lot of guys to pick from, and there's certainly going to be a competition.
Who would you kick out?
There's a lot of names. There's 6 or 7, 8 guys you could put in there.
Everyone always wants the new shiny toy. I get it, but the reality is we have some guys that are going to compete for that rotation and some guys that are going to be on the outside looking in. And your question, are we confident with what we have? We are. If we weren't, we would have made another move. So we're looking forward to seeing that competition and how it shapes out.
Be sure to catch all of my reports from spring training this week as the Cardinals begin their quest for World Series number 12. For now, reporting in Jupiter for Sports Plus, I'm Corey Miller.
Nearly 75% of the Cardinals have reported to spring training. And in my mind, the 2 most important players are Tyler O'Neill and Jack Flaherty. If they can reclaim their greatness, it changes everything. Flaherty threw the very first bullpen session today. Corey Miller has more on another guy who threw today.
Welcome to day 1 of Cardinals camp here in Jupiter, Florida, where Adam Wainwright threw his first official bullpen for what he says is his final major league season. Now, for almost 20 years, Waino has thrown to Yadi behind home plate, but with Yadi retired, Willson Contreras is the new starting catcher in town. However, Waino still thought of his friend Yadi today.
Yadi, for the last at least 12 years, Yadi and I have always introduced ourselves to each other after our first bullpen session, and that was something we didn't do. But I did send him a message after the first one I threw to Wilson. I'd send him a message saying, I'll miss doing this with you, but I got a new catcher now.
Have you chatted at all with Yadi about the WBC? And
possibly,
yeah? What do those conversations feel like?
Well, he wanted me to play on Team Puerto Rico at first, and then I asked him nicely to please don't be trying to tip all my pitches to the hitters, just because you know what my facial expressions or whatever look like on certain things. I told him just relax, sit back and enjoy, and stop trying to get in my head out there, because I already know he's going to try to.
Willson Contreras didn't catch Adam Wainwright today, but he did catch Jack Flaherty, and Contreras is not competing in the World Baseball Classic this year, so he can stay here at the complex and get more familiar with his new Cardinals teammates. Reporting from Jupiter for 5 on Your Side Sports, I'm Corey Miller.
So he wears bow ties and scarves and uses words like arbitrage. He's not for everybody, but you can't deny John Mozeliak's winning 15 consecutive seasons. So tomorrow the Cardinals will announce he's receiving a contract extension that will keep him as the president till at least 2025. As for the rest of spring training, let's head to Jupiter, where Corey Miller spent the day working on his tan and interviewing Cardinals.
Good evening from Florida and the Atlantic Ocean. Now, competition is a word thrown around a lot at the beginning of every spring training, but for this Cardinals camp, it's definitely real at multiple positions. And the men in charge of making those decisions doubled down on that notion today.
Candidly, I'll admit, sometimes there really isn't, right? Like we talk about it, but we kind of know what our club's going to look like. Whereas this year, I think it's pretty genuine. Performance and what people do is going to matter when you're looking at when we break at the end of March. What is our 26-man roster look like?
There's usually a spot where you're eager to see kind of how it unfolds, and there's competition. More than any other year, I would say there's going to be a lot of competition this year. There's a lot of spots that if you take your foot off the pedal, you will get past.
And with most of the team already in camp, it will not be long before those competitions start to heat up. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals, they're back in session in training camp in sunny Florida. Right now, there are a lot of new faces on the team this year, and nobody's starting job is guaranteed at this time. Our Corey Miller joins us live in Jupiter with what he's learned around camp. And good morning to you, Corey, first of all. And second of all, it's 7:30 in the morning there. Are players already showing up?
Thanks, Rennie. Good morning. Guys are just starting to roll in. I think 8 o'clock is the time when most of the players will start to arrive. And as you can tell, I'm already kind of losing my battle with the sun. But I did see a lot of cool things yesterday. Let's check out the video from day 1 of Cardinals camp. Nolan Arenado taking ground balls at third base is worth the price of admission alone. He just is crazy. This is just practice video, and he's going as hard as he would in a game. I saw Adam Wainwright throw his first bullpen of what he says will be his last spring training. Jack Flaherty threw to new catcher Wilson Contreras. Guys are starting to roll in and get ready for the season, where John Mozeliak and Oli Marmol say that competition is going to be real this year.
I think like when you sit in front of day 1 scrum, right? We always talk about like competition in camp. And candidly, I'll admit, sometimes there really isn't, right? Like we talk about it, but we kind of know what our club's going to look like. Whereas this year, I think it's pretty genuine. Performance and what people do is going to matter when you're looking at when we break at the end of March. What is our 26-man roster look like? And I could sit there and write a guess, right? But I would probably write down 32 names.
More than any other year, I would say there's going to be a lot of competition this year. There's a lot of spots that if you take your foot off the pedal, you will get past. And I look forward to seeing all of it.
No big new player contracts to report from spring training, but John Mozeliak, the man you just heard from, just signed a 2-year extension through 2025 to be Cardinals president of baseball operations. So a little bit of news yesterday as well.
Well, Corey, I love when they talk about open competitions and no one's job is guaranteed. But let's be honest, there are some players out there that we could probably count on being in a starting role for 2023.
Yeah, I don't think Nolan Arenado and MVP Paul Goldschmidt are getting moved off first and third base, but there is some wiggle room maybe at second between Brendan Donovan, Nolan Gorman, and definitely in the outfield, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, Lars Nootbaar. They're the presumed starters, but young phenom Jordan Walker might have something to say about that.
All right, Corey, thanks a lot. Enjoy your day.
The 3 most asked questions in St. Louis sports: who are the Blues trading? Will somebody break my turnover record at UMSL? And who plays catcher for the Cardinals? We got that answer in December. Corey Miller has more on that from Jupiter.
Greetings from Cardinals camp in Jupiter, where all eyes this spring are on the new man behind home plate. Now, Wilson Contreras has dreamed about being a Cardinal for quite a while, actually, even trying on an old Yadier Molina jersey the former catcher once gifted him. But now, it's a reality for Contreras.
Put the jersey on.
Yeah.
I had a white jersey at home that Yadi gave me. I put it on, and it looks so different, but I love it. And then I put it on. I asked my wife if we like it. And I was like, yeah, I look good. I look big. But yeah, it was something that I'm really happy with the decision I made. Yeah. I think it was the right move for me. And being here, it feels like home, even though that I've been here 2 months, 3 months. But yeah, I mean, the respect that the team had, everybody had showed me, and the love that they wanted me to be here. I wanted to be here, and then I think I made a great decision here.
Contreras enters Cardinals camp as one of just 2 current players with a ring. Adam Wainwright is the other, and said one of the main reasons he picked St. Louis was so that he could add to that ring collection. Reporting from Jupiter, Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
So today in Jupiter, Ozzie Smith made an appearance. Won't it be great to see him working with that phenom at short, Mason Wynn? Lars Nootbaar had a batting practice to remember, and the president got paid. Corey Miller has that story.
Welcome to Jupiter, where it's not all palm trees and pop flies. There was some news today. The Cardinals officially announced an extension through 2025 for John Mozeliak. Now, at the helm of the Cardinals, Mozeliak has never had a losing record in 15 seasons, and he is quite excited about the young group of prospects coming through the system, and he wants to be a part of it. And he's not alone.
Well, I think the most exciting thing we have is obviously we have an amazing core on our Major League club right now, but we also have some dynamic players coming up through our system. So, the key will be how do we augment that and where do we do that? Is it free agent? Is it trade? But it's a great foundation to build on. And so when people ask me, like, am I excited about 2023? Yeah, but I'm also excited about 2025. I mean, there's a lot to be excited about here with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Everything moving forward is just, icing on the cake. I mean, I think we have a good chance to be something crazy. I mean, especially Burleson as well, but, me, Tink, and Jordan, I mean, that's a nice core. I really think that's a really good core to build around, and I think, us coming up together is going to be huge, huge.
And with top prospects Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, Tink Hence, and Gordon Graceffo all in big league camp this year, that future could come sooner than expected. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
This morning, the St. Louis Cardinals are once again swinging the bats and throwing around the baseball down there in Jupiter, Florida. Our Corey Miller explains the excitement from our new players recently added to the roster.
Good morning from spring training, where 2 of the most intriguing names in Cardinals camp are 2 guys who have yet to don the birds on the bat at Busch Stadium. Catcher Wilson Contreras and super prospect Jordan Walker. I talked to both of them about what it means to be a Cardinal.
I'm really happy with the decision I made. Yeah. I think it was the right move for me. And being here, it feels like home, even though that I've been here 2 months, 3 months. But yeah, I mean, the respect that the team had, everybody has showed me, and the love that they wanted me to be here. I wanted to be here, and then I think I made a great decision here.
I am really impressed with how they go about their business and everything. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough spot to make for sure, because these guys are really, really talented. But honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I want our team to win. I'm glad we have so many good players on our organization. So man, it's a really good spot to be in for sure.
While Contreras has already taken over as heir to Yadier Molina, Jordan Walker will have a tougher road and a lot of people to impress if he hopes to make the opening day roster. Reporting from Jupiter, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
We know who the best Cardinal players are: Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. The most important, Jack Flaherty. The problem, he's had 3 consecutive years with injuries. Corey Miller has more from Jupiter.
If the Cardinals hope to be one of the elite teams in the National League, they will need Jack Flaherty to be great once again. Now, it's a contract year for Jack, and he is tired of watching big games from the dugout.
It sucked watching, the last 3 playoff games we've had, even coming down the stretch. I got to throw more this year in September and whatnot, but watching 3 playoff games, like watching 3 losses, has been awful. That's not something that you want. You want the ball in your hands. You want to be a part of it, and just feeling like all I could do was watch. It's not where you want to be. So I'm planning on being there.
As for that contract situation, Jack said things will all take care of themselves if the product is good on the field. Reporting from spring training, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
I don't think there's a baseball organization that connects the past with the present like the Cardinals. I mean, one opening day, Scott Rowland threw a ball to Nolan Arenado. Today, past and present connected at the shortstop position. Corey Miller has more from Jupiter.
This sign really says it all. Ozzie Smith is the pinnacle of infielding. Cardinals' top infield prospect Mason Wynn grew up idolizing Ozzie as a kid, and the pair finally got to meet today, appropriately, at the Land of Oz. You walk back on the fields and you see that sign that says, "Welcome to the Land of Oz." What does that do to you?
Well, of course, it brings back a lot of wonderful memories and stuff. Most of my spring training was actually done on the other side in St. Pete. You know, but to have a field dedicated to you is always very, very special, and it meant you did something right.
Nah, yeah, Ozzy, I grew up wearing number 1 my whole life, so, you know, it's a shame I can't wear it in this org, but it's nice that he's the guy that retired it, so I get to, you know, hopefully follow in his footsteps and be the next Cardinal great. You know, a little Ozzy style, maybe my first debut, you know, busting a little backflip behind the mound, but now, yeah, it's something I think about a lot, something I can't wait for it to happen. I mean, walking out to Busch Stadium in front of those fans, I mean, I know it's going to be something special, something words really can't even put it in the description. I mean, I already know my heart's going to be jumping out of my chest, you know, nerves going to be crazy, but I'm going to try to go out there and compete for sure.
With a jam-packed Major League middle infield of Tommy Edman, Paul DeYoung, Brendan Donovan, and Nolan Gorman, it could be tough for Wynn to break camp with the big club. But don't worry, he's coming. Reporting from Jupiter, I'm Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.